Okay, I got something here.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Incredible to see it come out of the dark like that.
Wow.
Yeah, this ship is the USS Vincennes.
So USS Vincennes, along with USS Astoria and USS Quincy, were patrolling this area when they came across several Japanese ships, and within about an hour later, USS Vincennes sunk to the depth here, about 1,000 meters, taking with her about 300 of her crew. The battles of Guadalcanal and the Solomon Islands was the center stage of several really important naval battles. They all were taken in this very, very small geographic area between really three major islands in this close body of water between the islands of Guadalcanal, Savo Island, and the Naval Islands. It's an area that's about 30 square miles. We have about 100 or so naval ships that were lost and about 1,500 planes.
This expedition does include experts from all former combatant nations here in the Solomon Islands campaign. So certainly our goal is to showcase that international collaboration and each nation learning more about the history of this place and how it's changing over time.
Okay, I got something here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
All right, we're right there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Just the edge of it.
Wow, look at that
Yeah.
damage.
Well, this is the broken off bow, I assume.
So we're looking at the bow. And do we know about how much of the bow broke off? Like what's
About 20 meters.
about 20 meters?
20 meters sounds about right.
The
Oh,
bow.
there's her turret. One of her gun turrets
Yeah,
with
look-
the 3 8-inch gun barrels still sticking out. The
Incredible.
gun mounts on these ships, the guns were mounted in a single sleeve, meaning when they elevated, they all three elevated at the same time. So that's why they are frozen in the same position. That's an incredible image.
That really is.
You're right, it's quite sobering to see.
It is.
Wow.
You know, the crews of the three cruisers that were lost in this action fought so bravely. And there was really no hope of saving Quincy or Vincennes because of the amount of damage and pounding they took.
Having read about these battles, I didn't know how I'd react. It's really quite emotional.
You can actually see the deck now too, and see the ladder right below that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
ladder's really remarkable to make that like a human
Yeah.
scale.
It does. Yeah, it really does. Okay, so that's now turret 2.
That's turret 2. And you got part of the deck house there with, you can see I can't see if that's a porthole or is that damage.
Yeah, that might be damage.
That looks like damage.
Yeah.
Is that
Maybe.
likely to be from an artillery?
Yeah,
Yeah.
either a destroyer or a cruiser shell.
Shell, yeah.
Given that the porthole right next to it for size, I'd probably say that's a destroyer hit.
And a shell like that, is that an explosive shell or it's just a projectile?
It would probably be high explosive or armor piercing.
Right.
That damage, that is just incredible. Oh yeah.
Wow, you
that's-
really can't see the
much
wood planking
overlighting,
on the
yeah.
deck.
That's probably teak.
Remarkable
great.
to see it in that
Uh,
condition 80 years later.
This is a great view. There's one of those secondary 5-inch guns.
Are those anti-aircraft guns mostly? or-
Dual purpose, could be used against a surface target like a destroyer or
Mhm.
aircraft. Those, I believe, are 5-inch 21s.
And that's is this a small gun here? Or is-
That looks like a machine gun.
Yeah.
What is stacked there along the back, the rectangular?
I'm
Thanks.
kind of wondering about that too. Those look like ready ammunition store where you'd have ammunition kind of standing by to hand to the guns.
We're going to slide back down now. Keep going down, follow the pipe. Okay, now we're going to slide right along the mud line.
That looks like the shaft.
That's the shaft for the propeller.
Oh, that's interesting.
Bob,
Now,
do you
let's
think
see if we
that-
see the props. Is that
Kind of
blade
curved?
sticking out? There
Yeah.
they are.
There's the prop there.
There they
There,
are.
yeah, so that'd be the propeller guard, and
Yep.
there's the prop,
Okay, keep going.
the shaft strut.
Keep getting the blades in. There they are. Okay, now slide right.
the structural damage on this thing is pretty intense.
It really is.
So when you're done, we can
It's great
All
flying,
right.
Ben.
go back up from here. Let's now rise up.
Yeah.
See if we can see the name.
So did we have the hull number that come into
We
view?
couldn't see it. Her hull number would be 44.
44.
Looks like a major caliber impact. The whole deck structure just collapsed and kind of folded in on itself.
Wow, it's
Left
a
of
good
her
meter-sized hole in there in the back there.
It's like
Yeah, I think it went through and into the deck, it looked like, but
Wow,
maybe.
yeah. Maybe that's why it collapsed, huh? Like the fire or something in there.
It really is just an incredible view. Understanding that, that hit and the fires that would have come here.
It's just incredible looking at this video. It, just thinking about the sailors who lived through this event. It's amazing, very sobering.
Frank, a question from a viewer about what kinds of protections are placed over ships like this. Obviously, throughout this expedition, you'll see some changes to the Nautilus Live website, which include the maps not being visible and some of our normal data streams not being visible. That's due to our obligation to protect the locations of these. But what other kinds of protections do they have in place?
Well, under the Sunken Military Craft Act, usually when organizations want to dive on a wreck, they have to see a permit from us, just so that we know what they're doing. We require no invasive procedures. We ask that they respect the sanctity of the site, as we consider these sites to be war graves and the fit and final resting place for those who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. Partnerships like this help us to monitor the wreck sites and periodically. So that's one of the reasons why I'm here, is just to, again, get a baseline for the protections to the ship.
We're glad to have you with us. We honor the sanctity of these sites and aim to protect that experience for all of our viewers and everyone being part of this exploration.